So we determined there's no infrastructure needed, and privatizing natural resources gathering sites seems to slow down or limit production, which which may be what some companies may want as it increases price, but it's not always what the buyers and consumers want. It's not what the buyers and consumers want. Then having more tools available than needed to get resources is remedied by the government or other organizational tactics at the site. Plus, that's a minute issue. Lastly, efficiency is a personal or organizational issue, not to be determined by any other than the people involved. So, for all the resources we allow privatization and limit for all the reasons we allow privatization and limit competition in public utilities, we find none and without doubt seem to find reasons to not allow privatization and limit competitors in the field of gathering raw materials. So it must be another reason for doing it. Do they believe it is the fairest way to distribute work? Do they believe privatization is the fairest way to distribute work? Now let me explain these lands are work, sold as such, and even set up for the owner to be almost made to work them and sell resources to recoup costs and pay taxes. If you cut a tree for wood, plant and harvest crops, catch seafood, slaughter an animal, or extract resources from the ground, it is all work, a job. Unlike residential, commercial, and industrial lands, where you may place your building, products, and or offer a service that you created. The work of nature was created by none of us. Even if it was, we are dependent upon it as far as we perceive and put here, so it's our right. It's our right to get it, but not any person's right over another's. So we must fairly distribute this work. I say fair as superior to evenly, as some may believe is fair, but not in most cases. So we created this system of auctioning the lands, the highest bidder wins. Not only can the owner block competitors using the land, but they can purchase ambitious parcels that can be worked on completely at but they can purchase ambitious parcels that can't be worked on completely at one time, securing their future income over others' immediate revenue. Calling dibs on land you can't currently use seems like greed, but it must be fair since the owner paid for the land over others. Let's see how the auctioning system measures up on the fairness and equal opportunity scale. Obviously, we all don't have the same amount of money to bid with. Obviously, we all don't have the same amount of money to bid with. So on that level, it lost points. But let's dig deeper. How did they get the money in the first place? In general, the people with the most money are the most valued or offers a product or service that society values a lot. So being an asset to society, they were rewarded by a form of voting, if you will, and paid the funds appropriate. Now it seems like everyone has a fair shot to attain this land because we all had the opportunity to be an asset to the populace. The richest were deemed to provide the most valued thing, so they should be able to get a benefit equal to what they gave to others. Hence, if they value land more than others, they should be entitled to it over others. It's not that simple. When you have the option, to keep sites public to let everybody work on the land, especially rare, scarce lands, versus allowing one individual or company exclusive gathering permission. In the name of fairness and equal opportunity, the public masses must be chosen over the individual or company when we are contemplating the best way to share something that's freely available to all. public lands. Also, I would state that fairness wasn't present in the process of receiving money in the first place. Money must be given to you, as opposed to you getting it without the approval of another. And there are tons of ways people can and have discriminated against others. But while I do agree rich people should be cleared to outbid people for goods in other lands, bullying people out of natural resource gathering jobs isn't one of the things that they should be allowed to throw money at. Lastly, when people gather resources in bulk, they are essentially saying, I know people want this product and are too busy to get it themselves, so I will do it for them. Also, it could mean they have clientele they need to provide for, or their business, or their family, or themselves, whatever. A person just gathering for personal or family use or for a known amount of people should never be hindered and has priority over people gathering for business or market demands. It it troubles me that one can be stopped for fishing illegally, while a commercial fisher can collect tons of fish to sell to potential buyers. Although the illegality of it may be due to failing to pay for a license, which is foolish that we would have to make someone pay before they can work. It seems to have a hidden agenda that we should let the big guy take care of all of this while we, the inconvenient little people, go find something else to do. Most industries falsely require so much startup capital that you already have to be rich just to make money. So basically, saying the rich have the opportunities to get richer and the poor can only get rich if they allow you to stay in control of all the resources. Which is why to have raw material gathering sites unowned by private hands and open for the public to work when they want and how they want to get money creates an equal opportunity and can help to negate any other factors that cause an unfair atmosphere in the race for money. Once again, let me reiterate that this is a right for all people to receive the benefits from the land. And all further arguments are just to show people that it's a better option as well. Some may claim that the public, the economy, and business will benefit more if we privatize the resources. How how will people benefit from the land by a corporation or a private company owning it? Well, these are the arguments. Number one, by the sale of the land, the government has received funds to spend on the public. Taxes. Number two, taxes paid on the lands and or income is more revenue to the government. Number three, they offer a few jobs to the public. Number four, they sell you um, they sell you the products that you need. Number five, private owners run things more efficiently. Number six, others left out will fill a void in other sectors of the economy, which is supposed to be better for the economy. And number seven, production is more with private companies. So we're going to start from the bottom and work our way back up on that. Well, we already established that production should increase with opening up the resources to all. So recognize that efficiency or having less people doing a job doesn't necessarily have to be better. With business owners, maybe, but with people on their own personal level, not as much. When you account that most people that could be working in this field may have been unemployed or underemployed, it questions that whole argument. When you free up the resources to, you guarantee a job for people. You guarantee a job people can get without a monetary, educational, or social requirement. that is necessary since other avenues of so-called voids in the economy are subject to these requirements, then subject to competition also. If everybody, if every company used the least amount of people to fulfill demand, too many people would be unemployed, which leads to less demand and then less production and then less jobs. The cycle of stupidity. Some people think that private companies operate better because of incentives based on work. But if that is true, allowing each individual to work as they see fit has to provide the most incentive. Um, Paying an administrative staff more to oversee operations has great benefits to all aspects of the business. But those benefits usually go in the order of executive staff, consumer, then the lower staff. Even including technology and scientific techniques for safety and production, raw material gathering falls as one of the least technical industries, at least by necessity. Concluding that concluding that executive staff may be less necessary as well. Some or most of all operations will have government oversight in place of private administrative staff to handle the outline of operations, but most people will operate as they see fit. The general details of each system will be explained later. One of the greatest arguments is that having someone take ownership of the lands will have that person care for the land more, and that public lands are treated like trash because no one person feels responsible for it. That may be true in some cases, but jobs, departments, and grassroots organizations are made to combat some issues which users of which some users of public which some users of public property may neglect. Then again, some companies may never try to rectify because they are concerned only with their bottom line. All right, so take the EPA and another environmental organization, for example. A private company or corporation that produces waste that harms people and or the environment but doesn't harm their bottom line won't feel obligated to spend time and money to fix that problem. But regulations, laws, and protests propose they do, although some may try to get around it. If it were a public operation, it would want to follow its own rules and would eliminate the EPA and other regulatory government agencies' oversight on this sector to focus on others. Also, the people would have more say so in what must be done, which puts power to protest. Corporations are considered public owned companies, but they are also considered people by law. So go figure. Ugh. Ugh. But I call them semi public companies and definitely don't call them people. A corporation is public as long as you can pay into it, only for the fact that money cannot be possessed by effort and ability alone makes it a false prerequisite to get something considered public. No matter how low the stock price.